Welcome to LBTV. I have a very special guest, Ted Davis, voice of the Bucks. I got a lot of stuff I want to get into you with. A lot of people may not know a lot about you. They've heard you, but we're going to get into the life of being a play-by-play.
There's actually a face that goes along with the body, you know.
With that voice,
with the voice, and there's a body. I have hands and everything.
Where did you start? How did you want to get into play-by-play, radio, whatever?
You know what? I knew I wanted to do this when I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Really?
And that's not uncommon for guys that do what I do.
Yeah.
The bug seems to catch us early, but then you have to have some things come along. You have to have a voice that develops, which mine did, fortunately, and you know, you have to just pursue it. You know, I was 7 years old. I was living 7, 8 years old. I was living in Lubbock, Texas, which is out in West Texas, home of Texas Tech University.
Right.
And they had a guy that did the Texas Tech Red Raider football and basketball for about 50 years. His name was Jack Dale.
Okay.
And I used to listen to him, and even at that age, I thought this would be a fun way to make a living, because he was getting paid to go see the game that I was paying to go see.
Right.
And I thought that's a good concept in terms of a living.
Oh,
You
cool.
really don't have to work for a living. You get paid to go to games.
And watch a free game.
And that's what I do.
So you work for the Mavericks?
I worked Dallas radio.
Dallas radio.
For a long time, 10 or 11 years.
Right.
And then I got a chance to do the Mavericks on a part-time basis.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, that job opens, and they asked me to do it full-time. So I went full-time in 1988.
Okay.
And I've been doing it ever since.
And
So this will be my 17th year.
Oh, 17 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let's get right into the Bucks. I kind of like what John Hammond did. First of all, he went out and got a coach, Drew, coming from Atlanta. Now, what do you know about Drew coming in? Do you know anything about his system? Or?
Well, I don't know, anything about how he runs the team, but he was in Atlanta, and he was there 3 years as the head coach.
Yep.
They made the playoffs all 3 years.
Right.
And so,
how can you lose your job?
Well, they were going through a new GM, and he wanted his own guy. You know how that works out.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, despite the fact that he had done pretty well, next thing you know, he's out of a job. And the Bucks talked to him, and they liked him. They talked to a number of people, but they liked him, and so he's here. And he seems like a really solid guy. You know, we talked to him the other day, and we'll find out. He's got a whole new group to work with. I'm sure they'll be very open to what he wants to say and wants to teach.
Yeah, I mean, you can listen to Ted every day from 2 to 6 on the Big Show on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Sometimes Fridays. Sometimes you're there all the time, which we love.
You're there a couple of days a week.
Yeah, I'm on there on Mondays and Fridays. Let's get into the chemistry part of it now. And I gave John Hammond a lot of credit, putting together a backcourt with OJ and Brandon that has more size.
Yeah.
Something we hadn't seen with Monte and Brandon Jennings. I mean, what do you think about that transition?
Well, look, that was a backcourt that worked sometimes, but sometimes didn't.
Right.
They were hit and miss. More didn't than did. I've said that this group of Brandon Knight and Ridnour as the 2-point guards, O.J. Mayo and Gary Neal, who came from San Antonio, and he's got that pedigree of being on a team that played in the finals. I think those 4 guys will be as productive offensively as Ellis and Jennings were, and they'll be better defensively because they're bigger.
Right.
You know, you've got some size. O.J. Mayo's about 6'5", Neal's about 6'4". Brandon Knight is 6'3", about 200 pounds. He's a solid kid. And so I think those 4 guys in the backcourt are going to be at least equal offensively to what we had before, and better defensively.
Yeah, let's talk about the front court a little bit. And now in the draft, we really didn't know what area they were going to go.
Right.
We knew they wanted to kind of maybe get younger, but not tank their organization just to get a better pick, which some teams may do.
Right.
Now, their first-round pick, now what's his name again?
Giannis. I know Giannis.
Yeah.
I got that part down. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
There you go.
Antetokounmpo.
That's why I let you say it to me.
Yeah. And
now, what do we know about him? He's a little raw.
Well, green as a Granny Smith apple, as I like to say.
Yeah, that's green.
He's green.
So are they going to play him a little?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's going to play, and I think he has to. You know, Delfino's going to be out for the early part of the season.
Yes.
So you've got Caron Butler at the small forward spot.
Which is a great signing, I thought.
Good veteran signing. Now there's some backup.
Local guy
from Racine.
Yep.
There's some minutes to be had behind him.
Right.
And I think they'll pick their spots. They're not going to put him out there against a real veteran frontline guy. But when the other team goes to their subs, you can put him in. And I think you have to live with whatever mistakes he's going to make.
Right.
Because that was kind of a high-risk, high-reward pick.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of the kid when they drafted him.
He's only 18.
He's only 18.
Right.
Had never left Greece before he was drafted. So he comes here, and you know, you're going to have to adjust to life in America.
Yes.
And you're going to have to adjust to suddenly playing against men when you're 18.
Right.
The whole cultural and language difference that he's got to deal with.
Would he be a little bit more polished than a high schooler from the United States, or about the same?
I think maybe a little more, because I was told that the level of competition he was playing in Greece was probably the equal of Division II college basketball.
Oh, okay.
So it was at that level. It wasn't Division I,
right,
but it was more like Division II. So I think in that regard, he's a little more polished than you would have if a guy was coming right out of high school.
When you look at how they're putting the team together, I got excited. Being at Media Day with you, and you're the expert, but being there seemed to be, and Gary Ellison pointed out, more relaxed than other years when, you know, the other years coming in.
I think part of it is there really aren't any expectations for this team.
Right.
I think most people look at this team and go, well, they're a lottery team again.
Yeah.
Now, I don't, people ask me how the Bucks are going to do, and I say, I don't know.
Right.
In 26 years in the league, I've never had 11 players turn over from one year to the next on a roster that can only activate 12.
Right.
You know, you got 11 new guys with a new coach and a new coaching staff. So I don't know. It could be a team that does not make the playoffs, or it could be a team that overachieves a little bit and surprises us. And I hope it's the latter, but we'll find out.
What are the people saying on Twitter about the perception of what happened?
I'm cautiously optimistic, I think, or interested. Cautiously interested might be the word. Because, like me, it's so new that night to night, Brandon Knight, night to night, you don't know what to expect. And I think that's going to be the fun part of hopefully watching Larry Sanders take that next step and becoming a premier defensive shot blocker. He was that last year for most of the year, but taking that next step and improving a little bit offensively. I think John Henson has tremendous upside. Every time he got a chance to play last year, he produced. But for some reason, he went back to the bench every time he produced. I think he'll get big minutes behind Ersan Ilyasova this year, and so I think watching him develop. If Brandon Knight, I think Brandon Knight is at least right now, I don't say he's equal to what Brandon Jennings was as a scorer, but I think he can average 13, 14 points per game. He's going to have to improve his distributing skills as a point guard, but you got to remember, this guy was the 8th pick in the draft coming out of Kentucky. He was the SEC Freshman of the Year on a team that went to the Final Four.
Wasn't he Gatorade Player of the Year?
He was from Florida, from your part of the country, and he was Gatorade Player of the Year twice.
Yeah, and not many guys have done that.
No. So he's got talent.
Right. Back to the basics of the Bucks, I think that what you have to basically do is give people an opportunity to feel like they're going to compete and they're going to play hard.
Yeah.
Talk about that locker room last year and what the locker room will be this year.
Well, you know,
the locker room was pretty bad too.
You hear everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
We didn't have a book.
Right.
There was no rope to pull on, much less pull in the same direction.
Sure.
So it was bad at the end of last year. I think you had everybody worrying about their next deal.
Right.
Monte Ellis had one foot out the door.
Right.
J.J. Redick had both feet out the door.
Yeah.
Brandon Jennings had his mind out the door. And, you know, the coaching staff knew they weren't coming back.
Right.
So they couldn't really control it because they didn't have any hammer to wield. And so it was not good. You know, so you come in with a guy like Larry Drew, who I think the player's going to like playing for.
Right.
You come in with a new group of guys who I think, and this is the opinion I got from Media Day, this group seems to genuinely want to be here.
Right.
Which I think is great. I think the fans are going to like the fact that we've got a group of guys that like being here.
Yeah.
As opposed to the group last year, which was saying, I really don't want to be here.
Yeah. So, okay, final thing we'll do now. What if you get the 7 foot 260 huge guy? Who was that guy?
Oh, Miroslav Radulica.
Yeah. Now, what if you got him in the game, and you got the first round pick in the game?
Okay.
And you got Ursan in the game.
Yeah.
And you got Delfino in the game. The ball is going around.
Yeah.
Can you
Well,
give me something?
you got Antetokounmpo over to Radulica. Radulica to Ilyasova. Ilyasova to Delfino. Basket's good. Now, see, I can do that. And I guarantee you, when he's in the game, I'm going to trip up on Gary Neal.
Right.
I'm going to call him Nary Giel.
We'll forgive you because you're so good. Ted, you're the best.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, LeRoy.
And this is LeRoy Butler TV. Very entertaining. You don't want to miss it. Again, you can follow Ted at NBA
At NBA Ted.
And you can follow me at Leap36. Bye-bye.